AM 1300 WMEL. Get ready, Space Coast. On Sunday, August 9th, AM 1300 WMEL becomes AM 1060 WMEL. That's Sunday, August 9th. The Talk to Me station, AM 1060 WMEL, will blanket the entire Space Coast with a 50,000-watt signal, bringing you all of your favorite news, talk, and sports programming more clearly than ever before. Remember, on Sunday, August 9th, make the switch to AM 1060 WMEL, the Talk to Me station, AM 1060 WMEL.
The views expressed on the following program are those of the hosts, callers, and guests, and are not necessarily those of WMEL staff, management, or advertisers.
This is Joe Steckler, folks, your host for Helping Seniors radio arm of Helping Seniors, the big arm. We are an organization whose primary vision is to inform, educate, and connect seniors and those that care for seniors to the many wonderful resources in Brevard County. We are not out to compete with anybody. Rather, we like to think that we want to complete the care equation. And if you think about it for a minute, folks, some of the things that Kay and I are going to talk about today, along with John Harper, the owner of radio station WMEL AM 1300, is we're going to talk about awareness for seniors. And we have a number of organizations that are very, very supportive of what we're doing. And those people primarily are the sponsors for what we do. And I want to mention some of them because some of these, almost every one of them are somebody that you'll probably need assistance from someday. Gentiva Home Health Care, the Eye Institute, Solid Bite Dental Implant, Bill Johnson, elder law attorney, WMEL AM 1300, at least AM 1300 for a short period of time. It'll soon be going to AM 1060 with a greater signal and more coverage and a better signal, and it's just fantastic. And I want John to talk about a little bit about that today because it'll help you talk to more of your friends across Florida, Central Florida especially, so they can hear what we talk about here. Lewisdorf Hospital System, Love and Home Care, Ren Care Medical Alert, Atlantic Shores Rehabilitation, the Social Daycare Day Club down at 5200 Babcock Street in Palm Bay, and Ebony News Today. And with that completes my first part of my commercial today. But let's talk for a minute with our information specialist, Kay Kaiser. Kay is the information specialist over at the office, and the phone number to reach Kay is 321-473-7770, or you can call us today if you have a question. Call us here at the radio station, 631-1300. We're certain and be very happy to answer any of your questions. And, we always stick around for a minute after the show in case somebody is afraid that somebody might recognize your voice on the radio and you are afraid that your friends will know that you're asking a question. So we enable you to remain incognito by staying here after the show, and you can call us if you want to do that. It's like the old radio show, John, The Shadow Knows. You remember that?
Of course I do.
You remember The Shadow Knows?
Sure.
John Harper just joined us, folks. So we got John, Kay, and Joe here in the booth, and we're going to talk about this. But first, let's just talk. Kay, let's talk about why awareness is so important to seniors and those that care for them. And after Kay talks about it, John, you pick up from all your broadcasting experience and what you think is happening, especially here in Brevard County, with the new thrust to, with your new signal here, you soon have on the radio station how we'll reach more people. The fact that radio is not obsolete. Radio is it never has been obsolete. I listen to my car radio all the time. I'd have a heck of a time watching TV in my car. Heck of a time. It's okay.
A little joke there, yes.
It'd be a little dangerous. I'm dangerous enough as it is without watching TV. Anyway, Kay, why is it so darn important?
It is so important. So many people have no clue where to turn. The callers that I get are saying, I need this, and then sometimes they say, I need this too, and they keep calling back. So getting the education, getting the information out there. As a matter of fact, Joe, the results of our survey that we recently conducted, the number one, tied with Number 2 is information on aging. Where do they go? How do they find out? So helping seniors is all about completing the circle. We're not in competition with anyone else. I take the time to speak with my caller to find out what really needs are they looking for. And we can't help 100% of the people. And I tell them, I said, well, if I don't know the answer to that, I'm going to research it, and I will certainly get back to you.
Okay.
So
I'd like to ask John just a little different variant on what Kay and I started talking about. John, you've been in radio a long time. You and I have been connected since 1993. You have done so many shows for us over the years, and I think we both know that you always have a disclaimer about the radio station is not responsible for the views expressed. However, I don't think there's ever really been a variance between the views that you and I have expressed over the years about treating people fairly, getting good information out. Could you expound on that for just a little bit?
Well, I think, Joe, and thank you for allowing me to be here on your show today. I appreciate that. I think treating people fairly is maybe the key ingredient in what we have tried to do over the decades here at WMEL Radio. And in addition to that, I know what you've tried to do on your show here throughout the years as well. And I think you've been very successful at being able to do that based on the number of repeat clients that you have, the guests that you have. Obviously, you're hitting a resounding note of people who want to be associated with you and the message that you're trying to get out each week about, in the particular sense right now, of helping seniors.
Well, John, I go back, I think, some of the shows that you used to have over on Turtle Mound when we were AM 920. I'm thinking of Andre Shea King. Remember Andre?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You remember?
Yeah.
A lot of people thought Andre was controversial. In some respects, yes, she was. But, when you started looking underneath all the layers, there's a lot of truth in what comes out of broadcasters' mouths on these radio shows. The problem...
Well, she always spoke the truth. There was never a problem there with her.
Right.
Delightful person and... well recognized throughout the community, and I know she continues to, I believe, have some type of a site. I don't know if it's on a daily basis or weekly in which she gets information out, but Andrea was always a good friend and had done for many years a good job for us here at WMEL.
Yeah, the problem was that the people she was broadcasting to didn't understand because it didn't have all the facts that Andrea had to know what was really happening. The same thing continues today. It's just like there was more in the paper this last couple of weeks about the Medicaid expansion and why Governor Scott didn't accept the Medicaid expansion. What few people realize is that just toss the Medicaid expansion out the window. The state of Florida asked for almost a $13 billion increase in Medicaid as it was, because in the budget it just ended on 30 June, there was roughly $20 billion in the budget, and now they've asked for $33 billion, and the state only pays 40% of that. So it's just, you just can't make a statement in the paper or on radio or on TV without trying to help the people understand what it is that's not going to happen. That's my big concern. What are we not going to be able to do for people what we should be doing for people? And that's, over the years, I think that's what's so important about radio awareness, TV awareness, newspaper media awareness. And I like for both. Okay, you got a background in TV. John, you're radio. Talk to our listeners what you both feel about the veracity of truth and what's not being said on our radio and TV today.
Well, I think in many respects, Joe, as far as what is not being said is being said, here each week on your show. You do the homework, you dig, you find what's going on behind the various issues, and you don't just accept it for face value. You dig deeper until you find exactly what's going on. So I think that's what the audience is able to come away with here on your show every week, knowing that you've done your homework, you're not shooting from the hip, and it's based on fact, not fiction on your part.
And I want to comment, because prior to the show, you were sharing with me an article about the funding from Medicare and Medicaid, and after reading all of that, your comment was, well, that's not exactly true. So, you understand that, but the average person out there has not a clue. So everything that we say here in trying to help the seniors of Brevard is coming from people that are sincere, compassionate, and we truly do want to help. But you've got a wealth of knowledge, more than anyone I know in the entire county in the elder market.
Well, and that scares me, because I sent an article over to an attorney that I have a lot of respect for. And I sent it over 2 weeks ago. And the attorney was going to check the facts out for me to make sure that I wasn't stepping on somebody's toes with regard to a recent Supreme Court ruling. And I just got an answer back today, and he said, Joe, the reason I didn't get back to you because the facts I got back from Tallahassee were extremely confusing. It depends if you look at the money trail or if you look at the help trail. It's really nice to say that we got a $2 million increase. Folks, we're talking about a $79 billion budget, and here we're talking about a $2 million increase for Medicaid to get people off of a waiting list. And it's just like the attorney's assistant said to me, he said, Joe, if people don't know the impact of the political decision on the financial decision, he said, we can't really help people, because what most of us don't know, what they don't put, when Christopher Foley puts this stuff in the paper, or Workman talks in the paper about we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, the real truth is that we grade people whether they're a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and the only people who are really going to get help are the people that have a 5 need, and they're roughly 20% of the 54,000 on the waiting list. Right. So all those other people, we're talking thousands, we're talking roughly 40,000 people. They're just going to be out there trying to get help. Right. And that's why, this Friday, or tomorrow, we're taping 6 new TV shows over at our offices. The first show is going to be on Veterans Affairs. Right. And a guy that heads the Veterans Program, we're going to talk about aid and attendance. We're going to talk about what the VA can do for you. And those of you listening to the show have to realize that we have 75,000 veterans embarked, okay?
So many of the calls that I get a call from a widowed woman, and in talking with them, and again, I'm not going to be quick on, giving you just a quick number. I try to really find out what's going on. And in discussing with many of the widowed women, one of the questions I ask, because many of my callers are on such a fixed low income, and I query and I say, was your husband a veteran? And their response, well, yes, as a matter of fact. He served in the Korean War or World War II. And I said, was he in the service 90 days with maybe 1 day during a time of war? Well, yes, he was. And I said, would you happen to still have his discharge papers? Yes, I do. And I said, okay, I want you to call Dennis, who is our lead officer that we'll have on our TV show, as you mentioned, tomorrow, taping, and speak with him directly, and he can take some information for you over the phone. Because if you are qualified, and from what you've told me on your fixed income, sounds like you are, your money problems may be resolved. And they said, I had no idea. People have no idea. The VA does not broadcast that information that this is available.
Okay. I'm retired, so I have Medicare and I have TRICARE. John, you're a veteran. You have VA. Your brother has VA. What is the importance of the VA to you and Vern?
Well, the VA to me, in fact, we were just talking about that this morning, how the VA has been so vital in Vern's recovery over the past several years and what they've done for him. I mean, it is a lifeline for him and for me, too. They've been very good to me, you know, despite all the things that we've heard over the past year about the VA and things that they haven't done. I can only speak from the Viera VA office and facility, and those people out there are superb. They do a great job. They're very attentive. They do follow-up, and I've never seen one instance of a lack of any type of compassion toward a vet.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up, John, because I think that a real plus for Brevard County, what we talk about on this radio show almost every week, are about the many wonderful services we do have available in Brevard County, Florida. What is a carefully guarded secret is that people come from West Palm Beach, DeLand, the other side of Orlando. They all come here to our VA clinic because it is so well run, because it is so responsive, and because I remember a couple of years ago I had done a radio show, and I had done a TV taping, and I developed a tremendous headache, and I was on my way. I was close to the VA. I drove straight into the VA clinic, told them what the problem was. The next thing, they had me in there doing a CAT scan. That quick. They did not delay. You know, I think if we have a problem, it's just like going to an emergency room. When we get older, we don't have a right to have everything handed to us just because we're older. But I think, John, one of the reasons that you and Vern have been treated so well by the VA is because you are like a responsible person that is seeking needed care, necessary care, but you do it in a manner such that people will respond to you. And this is the thing that we tend to forget as we get older. We can't go out and demand everything be handed to us. Right. What's your comment?
Actually, Joe, it's a very good point. You're right. And I guess maybe because of the very positive attitude that we have, Vern and myself, toward the VA, the doctors, the nurses, all the different ancillary staff members that they have out there, because it's been very positive for us. That's conveyed in the way we deal with them and the way they deal with us, and I guess they appreciate that a great deal.
Yeah. You've been in talk radio roughly 50 years now,
yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you made a special announcement the other night to the WMEL team that within a very short matter of days, that you will shift signals from AM 1300 to 1060. This will mean that you will have. What does this mean? You tell people. It's your baby.
Well, first of all, Joe, making that switch has been something that, in reality, not a lot of people know this, that's been in the works for a number of years. In fact, going as far back as maybe 5 or 6 years, I've been working on that. And the sun, the moon, the stars just were not aligned properly to make that happen. Whereas just a couple of weeks ago, it's not even 3 weeks, it'll be 3 weeks tomorrow, all of a sudden everything did line up to where we could pull this off and make it happen. And I'm very pleased. To answer your question, what does it do for us? It gives us a huge signal throughout East Central Florida. We will still remain a Brevard County station, but we're also inheriting East Central Florida. From Daytona southward to the Palm Beaches. Folks will be able to hear your voice and the information and message you're getting out. Miss Kay Kaiser, same with her, and all of the guests that you have on as well. So I think it just very simply, at the truest form, touches more people's lives than ever before. Whereas now maybe we're touching potentially 500,000 people in Brevard County. Now we're going to probably have the potential of reaching over 2 million.
Joe, I'm going to make a prediction, too. When this happens and people listen to your radio program, we have already gotten calls from out of Brevard County, which I still try to help those people find resources. But I can just imagine how much more calls we're going to get out of Brevard County once he switches to his higher wattage here.
Well, I understand what both of you are saying, but to me, I've been fighting this battle to improve awareness of services in Brevard County, Florida since 1993. We have had some wonderful programs. We got programs that are not so wonderful. We got some programs that say they're doing something and are not doing something. Do they need to be exposed? Yes, they need to be exposed. You have to do it the right way. You know, you remember the old adage, you don't want to shoot the messenger in the foot. But having said all that, care dollars are precious. Care dollars, if they're used the right way and people understand how they're being used, can go a long way. There's an article in Florida Today talks about by a syndicated columnist that appeared a couple days ago. I got a copy in my briefcase. Talked about how Medicare and Medicaid dollars are going to be extravagantly used to combat Alzheimer's disease. I've been involved with Alzheimer's care patients since 1993. There has been so much misinformation about Alzheimer's care, it's not funny. And when you start about using Medicare dollars, it's not Medicare dollars using for Medicaid. It's Medicaid dollars to pay for that long-term care. And the big cost of Medicaid is putting people in nursing homes or in care that's not necessary for them to be there simply because we haven't been smart enough to loosen up the elements of care so that people can get the type of care they need when they need it at the right time. Right. We don't want to force people into something that's extravagant or expensive when it's not needed.
I agree with you 100%, but that's what I was referring to. The article that was written wasn't accurate. And everything that you say here, with your background and your research, you're speaking from the heart, but you're also speaking with knowledge.
Well, so I'd like to say more sometimes, but I have to. I don't want John to throw me out the front door, but...
there's so much information that needs to be out there. We probably should have you on 5 days a week, Joe.
John?
We might consider that.
I wish I had the energy, John, to do that. We're just about off the air for our mid-show break, but the reason I mentioned this is that we got an auction coming up, and a couple of days ago, 4 or 5 of us spent about 5.5 hours photographing 40 Oriental rugs that we're going to have at a sale over at Holy Name of Jesus Church in October. Gorgeous rug. We are getting a signal. It's a mid-show break. I'm watching a dancing group here on the TV. Stay with us about 2 minutes. We'll be back, and I'll let John and Kay do some more talking. Bye-bye.
Get ready, Space Coast. On Sunday, August 9th, AM 1300 WMEL becomes AM 1060 WMEL. That's Sunday, August 9th. The Talk to Me station, AM 1060 WMEL, will blanket the entire Space Coast with a 50,000-watt signal, bringing you all of your favorite news, talk, and sports programming more clearly than ever before. Remember, on Sunday, August 9th, make the switch to AM 1060 WMEL, the Talk to Me station, AM 1060 WMEL. AM 1300 WMEL.
This is Joe Steckler, folks, your host for Helping Seniors, the radio arm of Helping Seniors of Brevard County. The second half of our show sponsors include Senior Scene Magazine, Hometown News, Spotlight Magazine, Seniors Helping Seniors, The Fountains of Melbourne, Beth Courtney of Braswell, Courtney Financial Advisors, Canadian Meds of Melbourne, Waiterman Malik, Attorneys Vitas Hospice, and Peaceful Beach Mediation, which is it's kind of a novelty type attorney approach to resolving marriage problems with seniors. Instead of seniors just going into court and say, I want out of this, you go ahead and see Brooke, and she says, what do you want out of it? Why can't you resolve your problems? It's mediation. And I mistakenly called it meditation, but it's really mediation. And but I realized what I said when I said it. This is the nice, and the other one, as Kay has reminded me, is Barbara McIntyre of the, and Barbara has a special program called, has to do with refinancing.
Reverse mortgage.
Reverse mortgage. I want to say reverse. We have had a number of people calling about that once we heard us talk about it on the show.
Yes.
And we'll soon have a TV show up on our website talking about reverse mortgages. And those of you that are contemplating a reverse mortgage, I would caution you before you sign any paperwork with anybody to be extremely careful about who you go with and what you do, and really understand the facts. And I think, John, that's one of the things that talk radio brings to the equation that a simple article in a newspaper or magazine doesn't. On talk radio, you can debate pros and cons, pluses and negatives, and it makes a lot of difference in what the information seeker gets.
Well, of course, talk radio compared to a newspaper or even a television report can just spend a lot more time dedicated to that issue, the topic, the guest, the information that you're trying to get out, and that's kind of the whole foundation of what talk radio is all about. It's exploring, it's understanding, it's knowledge. A friend of mine uses the slogan with his company, knowledge is power, but it sure is. But that's what you try to do every week here, as we mentioned in the last half hour on your show here every Thursdays at 1 o'clock, and that is to get that knowledge of power out there to the folks who are listening to you. So many other people don't do that.
I agree with you, John. And one of the things that I have found in the 16 years that I've actually been doing radio work and doing the research, it's very scary at times when you start digging into the Internet. It's a wonderful tool to help you understand what it is that you might want to talk about, because you can easily find the pros and cons, and it helps you decide which way you might want to go on an issue. But I have to say that in all the research I've done, generally speaking, if a person takes the time to look at an issue, they can figure out the truth of the matter. They can figure out what's right and what's wrong, and they can do a better job of helping themselves understand. Kay,
well, that's true, Joe. Excuse me for interrupting, but at the same time, you take the time to dig further than just the surface of the issue of the topic to get really behind what is happening and then explain that here in the show. So I think that makes a big difference, and not everybody does that.
And I want to add that you are the most organized person I have met regarding, you've got everything scripted out and outlined. You know the key points, which it reiterates the fact that you have really dug in to learn about the subject that you're going to be talking about or writing about.
You just made a statement, Kay, and John knows this. One of my biggest disappointments in being an elder advocate in Brevard County, Florida, was my failure to make the county commissioners aware of the need to do a better job of monitoring what their staff did as regards disbursement of community development block grant funds and community-based operation funds, and the failure to have an active, viable plan in one of the oldest counties in the United States of America in terms of the number of people over the age of 65, the failure to have an active aging plan. And when we did the survey that Kay mentioned when we first came out, John's the vice president of Helping Seniors of Brevard County. I'm the president. And we've got a wonderful board. And on Friday, we will mail to our 5 county commissioners the results of a 7-month effort to glean information from the county. And I think the study group did a wonderful job in collecting and then categorizing the needs. And the number one need was
information.
That's the number one need. 17% of what people came out and said they felt was the most under-promoted thing in a county was information. So, John, you and I talked many years ago. We have radio, we have TV, We have newspaper, we have newsletter, we have word of mouth, we have a good network, we have a provider network, and now we are in the process of building what we're going to call a senior assistance network, the Helping Senior Assistance Network. And Kay, perhaps you could tell our listeners about why that's important, what it can do, and then John, if you could tell from a radio television promotion viewpoint why what Kay's going to say is so important. So Kay first.
Okay, first of all, I want to make sure that everybody takes note of our telephone number for Helping Seniors of Brevard, and that is 321-473-7770. But why it's so important that we're coming into this phase now, coming up actually to almost, and in a couple weeks we'll be a year old at our opening our offices here.
I understand.
So basically we've come a long way, Joe, but a lot of the callers that I get are asking for, do you have a good resource for a car mechanic? My car broke down. How about a plumber, an electrician? How about just any specialty store that, caters to
roofing
seniors?
Being one of the number one.
Roofing, with our rainy season and everything, for goodness sakes, I remember last year when we first opened our doors, that was the number one request. People had very limited income. We're putting tarps just to keep the rain out of their home. So I'm going to put a challenge out there to anyone listening. If you know of a business that would be beneficial to help build this directory so that we can help those seniors get in touch with those needs that they're looking for and services, please give me a call at 473-7770 because we're just beginning this next tax, but we believe it's vital and very important to have another directory, so-called, to speak.
Okay, John, you're the vice president of the organization. You're a radio guy. You've been in the news business for many years. What's your take on the validity of the Helping Seniors organization and what they can bring to the table when you have organizations like 211, Aging Matters, and some of the other healthcare operations in Brevard County? What does Helping Seniors do that somebody else is not doing?
Well, we have identified, and with the group sessions that have been held over the past several months, as you and Ms. Kay indicated a moment ago, information is the number one item that people are talking about, which is lacking here in the county and maybe in the state and throughout the nation, but information right here in Brevard County. And what you have put together and will be continuing to work on along with Ms. Kay is getting that information in a kind of a one-source location that it'll be easy or easier for seniors to find, to understand, decipher, and know where to go, and that they're dealing with reputable people, which is so key in any type of outside help that someone is looking for. I don't care if you're 95 or 25. Finding good people who are reputable, who won't try and steal you out of all of your money or whatever, that's very important in this day and age to everybody. And I know that's one of the things that is key and what has been worked on here over the past several months.
And I'm going to add to that, I've had a number of women call who have needed some service of some time, and they're petrified because they know that they're alone, and they fear that they're going to be totally taken advantage of. Because they're a senior lady living alone, a contractor may come along and say, well, it's going to cost you $2,000, but in reality, to someone else, it may be $1,000. So, this kind of thing is happening. So we're really looking and searching for trustworthy, ethical businesses that we feel are going to be not taking any iota advantage of any of our seniors here in our county.
Yeah, a number of people have heard me single out a medical alert system called RenCare. I do it for a couple of reasons, and I'll tell you honestly. RenCare is a sponsor, but RenCare has a total package that is unlike any other medical alert package that I personally have investigated. For instance, with a RenCare button around your wrist, or on your wrist, or around your arm, around your neck, if you live alone and you get somebody knocking on your door at night, and you want to go to the door and you're afraid to, you can actually push this button.
Right.
It'll connect you with the call center in Ohio, and they will monitor you as you talk to the person, or if you open the door and something goes wrong, within seconds they can alert 911. Mm-hmm. That is a special type of service that more people need to know about. They need to know about what we call the medical tray. If you put your medicines, and a number of people, they may have a family living in New York, and their mother or father lives here in Brevard County, Florida, and they have a problem remembering to take their medications. Well, this program has a medical alert tray that they fill it once a month. A nurse comes to the house, fills it up, locks it, and if you don't take your medications on time, within 10 minutes, the medical alert system is notified. They call the person who you've designated as the person to check on this person. They come to say, why haven't you taken your medication? Right. These are little things, John.
But also, Joe, that keeps people out of assisted living facilities.
Right.
That's a major reason why a lot of them do go into assisted living, because they can't remember their medications on time. And
the Florida Today article talked about the increased cost of Medicare and Medicaid. It was trying to thrust most of this cost on Medicare, which is not true. The cost of these Alzheimer's patients is in terms of long-term care, where they're placed in advanced care simply for one of the reasons is because they can't remember to take their medicine.
That's right.
So if we can take care of that for $25 a month, why are we putting them in a nursing home? It costs $9,000 a month.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, very good point.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is why the program that we do on the radio and on television, tomorrow we're going to shoot 6 TV shows. The first show will be about Veterans Affairs. And how many, I do not know of a single television show that's aired in Brevard County about Veterans Affairs. To be the first one, to my knowledge. The second show will be on Daily Bread. The third show is going to be about our art auction coming up. The fourth show is going to be about atrial fibrillation and stroke, pacemakers, and another serious aspect of heart care, followed by a show on foot care with Dr. Lenoshi. And the last show, 6 shows, folks, in one day, the last show will be about elder abuse with Laura Moody, who is the Assistant State Attorney.
And I think it would be good to bring to the attention of our listening audience that we're on 499, channel 499, Space Coast Government TV, 5 days a week from 8 to 8:30 a.m., Monday through Friday, and I believe it's 4:30 to 5:30 p.m., Monday through Friday.
Right. And think about it, folks. One of the things that the county commissioners have recognized is that we are filling a media need. This radio show, the Spotlight magazine article, Senior Scene magazine, the newsletter in Senior Scene, Hometown News, and Ebony News Today, along with billboard advertising, along with, I said, our radio show. John mentioned 5 days a week. I'd have to talk long and hard about that. I think somebody would probably shoot me if I did that. But we also, all this television stuff, folks. We have now 20 committed television shows a week, and all the shows will be different so that you can get a better understanding of what is available for you, your loved one, and family members to use to help yourself age with dignity, and try to reserve your financial status if you can.
I want to bring also to our listening audience that all of these programs, whether it be radio, TV, printed articles, are all archived on our website, helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. So if you want to be able to be educated and you maybe missed a show or you missed a printed article, you can actually search for a subject and it will show you the various media that particular subject is has been aired or in print.
Yep. But at the same time, John, tell our listening audience how radio station WMEL 1300 archives, and what do you do to promote the radio show on worldwide internet YouTube?
Yeah, all of the programs are archived here at WMEL Radio, where our listeners can very easily go to our website and go to the button that says Archive Shows and punch up the particular date and subject in which one of the shows has aired. It's a great resource, and we've had a lot of favorable comments about that, Joe and Miss Kay. In addition to that, however, what the two of you have just been talking about, as far as being able to go also, and a senior knows that he or she is getting reliable information, trustworthy information, information on a contractor or plumber or whatever that Miss Kay has mentioned, that has been vetted out, and ensure that they're getting a good deal from a good person. That's very important, very key, and I think that's one of the big areas that you are to be applauded for, Joe, and spearheading that and making that happen.
I agree, John, 100%. Kay, what else would you add? We've got 4 minutes.
Well, again, I'm going to put it out over the airwaves. Business owners, if you're listening to this and you feel like you would like to be part of this so-called directory that you're specializing in, and you want to help maintain and be a good resource for our senior callers, please, by all means, give me a call at 473-7770, because we're just starting this angle or this segment of putting this all together, and certainly the first people who are participating are going to be benefiting almost immediately, because there is that much of a need out there.
Okay, this is a question for John Harper. We've talked today about television coverage. We've talked about radio. We've talked about magazine articles. We've talked about everything. But the one thing that we have not talked about today is the human networking aspect of all that we do, John. And how does radio and all the media resources that you, Kay, and I have talked today, how does that impact, or how does the human networking impact on the positive outcome of what we're trying to do, completing the services?
Well, again, this goes back to, it's a good question, Joe, and it goes back to what we've talked about already here in this hour, and that is the fact of having a source, a connection, an area for a person to go to, and that makes the world of difference. You mentioned that little piece of device that you wear around your neck. What was the name of that again?
Oh, the Red Care system?
Yes,
it's a medical monitoring system.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And what a big breakthrough that is, technology-wise, and also financially speaking. And your analogy, Joe, of spending $35 a month versus $3,500 or more in a assisted living facility, what a big difference that is. But getting that information out, Ms. Kay mentioned the veterans and the services that are available through the Veterans Administration, that so many veterans who are retired, their families are not aware of it all, and that includes active military too. So it's amazing, but what you're trying to establish and what you've already laid the foundation for is getting this information in a one-shop stop. And making it a great way for seniors and their relatives, their families, their kids to get this information.
There's one quick thing I want to throw out. We're almost out of time. But if you are a veteran and you have a very serious cancer, some of these things like that, it is possible to be reevaluated through the Veterans Administration to qualify you for 100% disability. I just found that out this week. So it opens a whole new era for our people. So with that, I want to thank John, I want to thank you, and I want to thank you, Kay, for being with me in the booth here today. It's your radio station, John. Thank you for sitting in your own radio station. But it's always a joy to have folks, if you can have fun doing what you do, why not have fun doing it? So, Call Kay if you need help. We'll be with you. I won't be here next week. I'll be in Virginia for my granddaughter's wedding, but Kay will be here in a booth with Carrie Fink, and we're going to talk about the auction coming up. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.